Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 3 of the 23-24 PTC Therapeutics Premiership, where you join myself and Charlie McClellan for the opening game of the day, contested between league leaders Aspire Power Chair Football Club and the team currently residing at the bottom of the Premiership standings, Hull and East Yorkshire PFC. Charlie, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Looking forward to the midpoint in the season. You know, this is where you really start to see the battles for titles and relegation emerge, and so it's going to be a huge weekend.
Absolutely, it will. So just have this free kick taken by Brad Bates, and then we'll go through the team lineups and talk about these teams and their fixtures across game week 3, as Hayden Lambert is able to break into the Aspire half. Unfortunately for him, it goes out for an Aspire ball. So starting in goal currently for Hull and East Yorkshire, or certainly within the most defensive role, is Joel Rothery. In front of him, number 10, Cole Simpson, with wingers of Hayden Lambert and Luke Brennan.
Yeah, and Aspire have Tom Kelly in goal, adorning that yellow goalkeeper shirt, and then the outfield 3 are Brad Bates, John Boulding and Dan McClellan. Boulding, the captain, in the middle, looking to defend this kick.
Boulding switches it to Dan McClellan. No options in support for the young number 7. So he kind of guided it goal bound. It took a slight deflection off a Hull chair. So an Aspire kicking will resume play.
Yeah, it's important that Aspire are proactive in these early stages. Hull are going to play a low block play defensively in this game, and they need to break that down, Aspire. And for Hull, really, the game is just trying to stay defensively resolute for as long as possible. And with every minute that goes by where they haven't conceded, that confidence and that in their ability to defend this Aspire team will grow.
Fairly faultless start to this campaign for Aspire. Of their 8 games thus far, as Brad Bates attempts an effort at goal, they have 1-7. Single draw to West Bromwich Albion, which they'll be incredibly disappointed with in game week 2. West Brom had to contest that fixture with only 3 players for around about 39 minutes. But I'm sure they've gone back to the drawing board to ensure they assess that and make sure it doesn't repeat itself. They've got, on paper, a relatively easy game week 3. Of course, there's no foregone conclusions in this sport, certainly in the top division, but Aspire start against Hull and East Yorkshire PFC before a second game against Manchester United tomorrow. Their fixtures against Nomad Knights and Villa Rocket, so playing 3 out of 3 promoted sides from the 22-23 campaign before facing Villa Rocket, who they beat comfortably in the Cup just last weekend, was that?
Yeah, it was last Sunday at Stoke Mandeville Stadium. It was actually not as comfortable as the scoreline suggested. The first half was really, really even between Aspire and Villa. Villa were excellent, and they were actually, you know, it wasn't like they were sitting back and defending. Dan Ball and the team were really, really pushing forward. And especially without Amirali as well, he wasn't there. They were really good, and they were taking a lot of encouragement from it.
Aspire starting to get their passing going. A few misplaced opportunities from Boulding in the centre. They'll want to iron out any complacency as soon as possible, get on that scoreboard and assert their dominance at the top of the table. Hull and East Yorkshire have a 5-game weekend ahead of them as they desperately look to gain some points in pursuit of Premiership safety. Obviously, champions Aspire, their first game, as Brad Bates puts pressure on the most defensive of the 4 Hull and East Yorkshire players. Cole Simpson does brilliant to just support out for a corner ball their second game. Tough one against Leeds Chariots before a third game of today against Manchester United tomorrow. Newcastle United Foundation and Sevenoaks stand in their way. Boulding over to McClellan, trying to guide it back to his captain on the edge of the box. Just off the back of Cole Simpson's chair, out for an Aspire ball.
Yeah, I mean, for Hull, it's just a case of trying to build a platform. Right now, the league as it is it's not going to take many points to get you out of that relegation zone. You know, they currently sit rock bottom, but if they can win those 2 games that they'll be targeting against Manchester United and Sevenoaks, suddenly they come out of the weekend in a much, much stronger position. But they haven't scored a goal yet this season in the league, and that will definitely be playing on the back of their mind. They want to make that happen before the end of this weekend. Yeah,
completely agree with that. As Boulding switches it to Bates, just a ricochet between a few players. Boulding slightly forced from the Aspire and England captain, but absolutely, as you mentioned, Charlie, Nomad Knights currently in that 10th position, only have 5 points to their name. Worth noting also that 11th and 12th will be automatically relegated to next season's championship. Whoever finishes the season in 10th will play a one-off fixture against whoever finishes 3rd in the championship, in what always promises to be a thrilling encounter. I think currently, as the table stands,
Aspire have got a goal through Brad Bates, and it was actually a really simple one. The ball just sort of ricocheted, fortunately, in the midfield area for Aspire, came out to the right-hand side, and Brad Bates was one-on-one with Rothery in the goal and really had to just slot it past him to give Aspire the lead. They've been probing in these opening minutes, and they now have that goal that will certainly temper any nerves that may have been building.
Yes, exactly. 7.5 minutes gone. Hull and East Yorkshire 0, Aspire 1. Exactly the start that John Boulding and co would have wanted. Both sides have options on the bench if they wish to use them across this opening game. Aspire with a full complement and squad of 8. Jordan Williams, Rosie Dack, Sally McNeil and Bobby Williams at their disposal. As Hayden Lambert has probably the most credible opportunity for Hull and East Yorkshire in the game thus far, just into the side of Tom Kelly's chair, and fairly untested and uninvolved. Cole Simpson didn't quite know which way to orientate his chair there, so possession gifted back to Aspire. Brad Bates in possession. Hayden Lambert with the pick off over to Cole Simpson, which meant John Boulding was drawn into the action and didn't leave that necessary 3 metres between himself and Brad Bates. So an indirect free kick for Hull and East Yorkshire, taken by Cole Simpson. Hayden Lambert just to the right. Luke Brennan in between the 2 defensive players of Aspire. Hull and East Yorkshire have Kai Gill and Emma Hodson on the bench.
Yeah, and Hull sort of figured out where they think they can hurt Aspire. They're just going to try and put balls down the centre and test the goalkeeper and see if anything sticks, which is, I guess, a good enough strategy as any when you're playing against the league champions and the league's top team as well at the moment. It's just to test them in different ways and see what you can get. And they've got a set piece here, so this is a way that they can maybe do that.
Almost cliche, but the best form of defence is attack sometimes, and all the while that the ball resides in the Aspire defensive half, they're not got too much threat of their goal. Dan McClellan caught in 2 minds there as to what to do with the ball, but puts immediate pressure on Joel Rothery from one side of the court all the way to the other.
That was definitely just a case of indecision from Dan McClellan. It was such a good opportunity that he just took a little while to hesitate, and in the end made a quite odd choice.
That's an absolutely beautiful goal from Dan McClellan. He made the right choice on that occasion, squeezed the ball between Cole Simpson and Joel Rothery. And with 9.5 minutes remaining, Dan doubles Aspire's advantage.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that, Dan McClellan, because I know that's the kind of thing that would have stuck in his head, that missed opportunity on the spin. So to go and get a goal straight after will definitely put that to bed.
Hull and East Yorkshire 0, Aspire 2, 9 minutes of this first half remaining. Rosie Dack has come on in place of goal scorer Dan McClellan. Simpson. Pick off from Boulding. Over to Dack. Guides it goal bound. Out for an Aspire ball.
Yeah, Aspire will just want to keep the pressure going and just keep this game ticking over. They don't want it to become stale. They want to use games against the bottom tides to get some goal difference up, and that was a really, really nice set piece there. A good delivery from Dack. She just took her time, and then Bates had a really, really easy finish at the back post. So it's Aspire 3, Hull and East Yorkshire 0.
Yeah, looks like the floodgates have opened. If this season is comparable to ones we've had in the past, goal difference could very much play a contributing factor to the overall outcome. So the more goals they can obtain in fixtures like this will surely help them in their pursuit of a second successive title. Teesside with the most favourable goal difference will sitting just a point behind Aspire at the start of the day. These 3 goals put Aspire on plus 26, which means they still trail Teesside by 6 clear goals. As mentioned at the start of the game, a relatively easy weekend for Aspire on paper, as John Boulding tries to find Brad Bates. Strong ricochet in that defensive box of Hull and East Yorkshire. I think all eyes from Aspire will be watching that West Bromwich Albion Teesside game later on today.
Yeah, such an exciting fixture.
Surely a draw there favours Aspire, just to give them that slight buffer.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I spoke to John Boulding and Brad Bates during the week, and they were both hoping for a draw. I think they both predicted draws as well. I think it's a game with now so much quality, so many England players on that court, and obviously a very exciting international player as well that I'm sure we'll talk about during the commentary of that game.
Absolutely, we will. Rosie Dack cleared off the line by Cole Simpson. Recycled over to Brad Bates, not once but twice in the quick succession. Rosie Dack with an effort at goal just off the back of Cole Simpson's chair. The danger still present for Hull and East Yorkshire. Boulding couldn't quite force the ball through. Hayden Lambert out for an Aspire ball. Yeah, I listened to the podcast. Very, very good listen.
I've got the WFA with Adam, and on the way back that's downloaded on my Spotify for my journey home this afternoon.
The Teal Mum,
yeah,
with Rob Seal. Yeah, we got together last week to talk about the Regional Emergent Talent Programme and how that slots into the work that we're doing here, and obviously so many players' aspiration of hopefully representing their country one day, and how that serves as that base level for anyone looking to put on the Three Lions shirt. John Boulding into Brad Bates. Rosie Dack didn't quite get the accuracy to return it to Bates. Two on one in the favour of the champions. Indirect. Are they going to attempt a boom boom? Looks like they are. Unfortunately for them, couldn't quite get the timing and/or coordination to force an effort at goal. But I will always like it when they are brave enough to attempt it.
And it's come off more times this season than I think I've ever seen it before. There's a couple of sides that have done really effective ones. Aspire have. I know Newcastle did one earlier in the season.
Is it something that they practice frequently in training, or they just kind of trial it in the competitive situations, maybe when they've got a little bit of a buffer, as they do here?
I'm sure it's something that they train. I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest, but it's got to be. I mean, set pieces is such a big part of this sport, because it's an opportunity to get yourself set up tactically, and so it would be very surprising to me if they didn't do it in training. I know England spend a lot of time working on stuff like the boom boom and set pieces and such.
Well, being present in Sydney, we saw how effective set pieces were for the United States of America.
Like penalties, weren't they?
Exactly that, and it's such a huge part of the game. If you look at the running game currently, teams such as Arsenal get such a large percentage of their goals through set pieces, so they need to be considered as such a pivotal, crucial part of the sport. I know we all like to see open play goals, but don't underestimate the importance that just getting on the score sheet has.
Yeah, and I think that there is sort of like a stigma around, a passing goal is somewhat better than a set piece goal in terms of it holds more weight, but it really doesn't. I mean, a set piece goal means that you know your tactics, you have a good understanding of your teammates, you know what your role is, and you're clinical when it comes to it.
And that's his hat-trick.
Talking about being clinical when it comes to it, I think Brad Bates has had 3 chances and has got 3 goals, and Aspire have 4 now, and yeah, they're in the driving seat of this game, certainly.
Yeah, congratulations to Brad for obtaining his hat-trick. I'd like to pass over to you to say how many he has in an Aspire shirt, but I doubt very much you'd be able to reel that one off.
I'll get that stat for you at half-time.
Perfect. But I think that puts him on 10 goals overall for the season.
Yeah, that's a tally that he'll be happy with. That's another thing I spoke to him about in the week, is there sort of, do you set yourself goal and assist targets as a winger? How do you motivate yourself? And he was very much, gave the politician's answer of, it's all about the 3 points for the team.
I love it. They always sit on the fence. Here we go, another chance from Brad Bates, this time blocked by Cole Simpson. Footballers love a scripted answer, Charlie.
Yeah.
Aidan Lambert trying to relieve pressure on his teammates, but Boulding so accustomed to resuming that pressure. Rosie Dack trying to switch it to Brad Bates, which she does, but can't quite generate the power on the return pass.
Very good positional awareness there from Aspire. So.
Yeah, Rosie Dack going from that central position out to this right hand wing, the left hand side as you're viewing it. Final minute. Hull and East Yorkshire 0, Aspire 4.
I know a lot of teams in this league, just to go back to what we were talking about before, Aspire, I do know, have got a couple set pieces, speaking to a couple of the players that they're going to try out at points on the weekend, some more creative ones that they're going to look to use to disguise what they're trying to do, because, the whole get a kick in, whack it against the opposition goalkeeper, while it may be effective in terms of getting the ball back in play, unless the opposition goalkeeper makes an absolute howler, you're never going to score from it, are you?
No. An effort there from Luke Brennan, probably the only credible one that they've had in the game thus far. We're now into additional time, so anything our central referee Carolyn Bean has accrued across this first half I doubt very much, as she blows the whistle for half-time. A good opening half and start to game week 3 for league champions Aspire. They lead Hull and East Yorkshire by 4 goals to 0. Brad Bate opening the scoring before a second goal from Dan McClellan, and then 2 successive finishes from Brad Bates, capping his hat-trick. Join myself, Ryan Sipple, and my co-commentator, Charlie McClellan, for the second half shortly. Hello everyone and welcome back to this soon to be second half in this opening fixture of game week 3 between Hull and East Yorkshire PFC versus Aspire, top versus bottom. Aspire with a comfortable lead at the break, 4 goals, 3 from Brad Bates, 1 from Dan McClellan. Gives them that flexibility now to just take their foot off the gas slightly and ensure they have gas in the tank for their remaining 3 fixtures. They've made a substitution in that break. John Balding and Brad Bates with positions on the bench. Dan McClellan re-enters the action and Jordan Williams comes on as well. Be interesting to see who they opt for that central role. I presume Dan McClellan.
I think that they want to. I know he definitely wants to get more minutes in the middle and try it out. And so yeah, I assume it will be that. I did my fact finding. I said I'd find the stat at half time.
What you got for me?
Well, that was Brad Bates' first hat trick in an Aspire shirt. He scored a couple of braces, actually quite a few braces, but never found the third and decisive goal until today. So the long wait for Brad is over.
Congratulations to him. I'm sure as a winger, certainly competing towards the top of the Premiership and or Championship division, you were speaking about targets and how they typically give the very political cliche answers, but double digits in goals and assists has to be the ultimate goal.
I think that, yeah, either double digits, or I think a lot of them like to keep it above a goal a game. If you're above a goal a game, then you're having a very good season. So yeah, that is about. Well, if you're above a goal a game at the minute, most teams have played 8 or 9, so that's 10 goals at this point in the season is a very good position to be in. But yeah, I'm sure that they all want the win more than the goals, but when the goals come, what can you do, hey?
I don't believe that. I think if you was to get top goal scorer, you take a lot of satisfaction out of that. But that's just, I don't have to tread as carefully as some players do. So 1 substitution for Hull and East Yorkshire. Kai Gill has come on in the place of Luke Brennan. So Carolyn Bean blows the whistle to get proceedings underway in this second half. Hull and East Yorkshire 0, Aspire 4. One of the quickest 2-on-1s you are likely to ever see following the restart of play.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. A strange strategy.
So it is Dan McClellan in that central role. I have no doubt that John Balding very much has an eye on his wider development as he's picked the play. And brilliant goal, arguably the goal of the game thus far. Dan McClellan to Rosie Hodgson, across the face of goal to Jordan Williams, who scores within a minute of his introduction.
Yeah, that was a superb goal. I mean, it just moved the ball so easily. It was Dan McClellan who just flicked it out to Jordan Williams, back into Dan McClellan, a lovely full spin into Rosie, who just put the ball delicately across the box, and Jordan had to tap that in. That's what they define total football.
Already making his mark in that central position. I'm sure Mr. Balding on the bench will be very happy with how his team has started the second. How old's Dan now?
Oh God, now you're asking. He's 15.
It impresses me so much that someone 15 years of old can be so mature. A yellow card for Jordan Williams. I think he's a bit perplexed as to that decision, looking at his facial expressions.
I think I'm perplexed. I don't think he did
wonder if
leave
he
the court.
fully left the court to avoid a 2-on-1.
I believe that's what's being stated. I'm not sure. It's not something that I picked up on, but obviously the referee has to be slightly more vigilant than us here.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're watching on the streams, you can just rewind 30 or so seconds. That's something that's benefited a great deal from our streaming. It's the quality of refereeing and officiating as a whole. Dan McClellan over to Rosie Dack. I know Jeff Lewis, as one point of reference, always likes to check his decisions. Typically straight after a game, he'll come up onto the balcony where Alex Dowding and Jack Humphreys oversee our streaming operations, just to check decisions, and that's why we've discussed things such as a video assistant referee, a VAR equivalent for power chair football, and the possibility of that being introduced. It's all good to talk about.
I think it's a good discussion. I think VAR is interesting.
I think VAR is a way off, but what I'm saying is referees and officials can go up and re-watch the decisions in which they've made, and that can only help them for future occasions if similar occurrences come up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it helps everyone. It helps teams. You know, not every team has the ability to film their own games at a national level, to film their streaming session, and to have material to. Everyone wants to do analysis at some point and look back at what they've done, and for the WFA to be able to provide footage for them to do that is definitely a step, and it has helped, I think, to lead to the increasing quality in the game that we see now.
Colony Yorkshire just settling into this second half. Whether or not Spire have taken their foot off the gas slightly, we will see now as Jordan Williams attack in reverse. Cole Simpson quick to close down. Nice distribution from the number 7 Dan McClellan. Over to Rosie Dack. Out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, Spire being a little bit less intricate than they were in the first half now. They're just really getting the ball moving at pace and being slightly more direct when they go forward, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially in a game that is definitely opened up.
Dan McClellan down to Jordan Williams, locked in that top left-hand corner, out of play. I want to say you'll want to join myself and Charlie on commentary for West Bromwich Albion versus Nomad Knights. History in the making. We may as well drop the exclusive. Everyone around the Lee Westwood Sports Centre knows West Brom have signed Argentinian captain Valentino Zegarelli, who will be making his National League debut against Nomad Knights.
Yeah, one of the best players to watch in Sydney. I mean, it's just a really, really great player to watch. He's got flair. I've never seen a player. He does like step overs in a wheelchair. It's quite incredible. He's such a talented individual, and to have him here, I mean, he's only going to grow and prosper under Chris Gordon, and then to learn the English principles of the game and learn the passing game and the way that the teams in England play, and be able to take that back to Argentina will only help the quality of their national team's football as well.
Of course, because worth noting that they are the hosts of the 2026 iteration of the FIFA World Cup. So that as one point, but I think it just speaks volumes to the quality of our league and how it's such an attractive prospect for leading players around the world. We already have 3 Scottish players competing within our National League structure, but to add Argentina's captain and the player who secured player of the tournament at the 2023 FIFA Power Chair Football World Cup makes this one of the most anticipated and exciting weekends to date.
Also the best dressed player at the Power Chair Football World Cup, you have to say. He was very, very smooth looking on the awards night when he picked up that player of the season.
That he was, and I'm a bit of a fanboy. I was delighted to be presented with a signed Valentino Zegarelli shirt in Sydney, so that takes pride of place at home.
Yeah, what a week Sydney was. going to be very, very difficult to match that in terms of power chair football.
They've passed the torch over to Argentina now, but Sydney have also set the benchmark, so it'll be really exciting to see what they can do with it, make it their own.
I mean, the Argentinian supporting contingent were loud in Sydney. What's it going to be like on home soil?
The South American contingent in general was absolutely fantastic. Them in Uruguay, among some others, Denmark, Japan, to mention 2 others. But thank you to all that are tuning in for this opening fixture, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple and Charlie McClellan for Hull and East Yorkshire versus Aspire. 5-0 currently to the league leaders.
Trying to get a shot away there, Dan McClellan couldn't do it, but Aspire have still got the ball. Ooh, that's a really unfortunate deflection.
Yeah, oof.
Yeah, that was so unlucky.
That really was. Just took a nick off the Hull and East Yorkshire chair, just guided it towards the goal. Nothing their defence could do to prevent that 6th goal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Jordan Williams. I think Rosie Dak tried to get touch on it at the back post, but I think it had gone in. Obviously slightly difficult. We're in the far corner and there were lots of panicked Hull wheelchairs in the way, but it looked like Jordan Williams from where we were.
No, just re-watched it. Jordan Williams is the goal scorer, so that puts him on 2. He'll be desperately chasing his hat-trick now to try and match, if not better, number 19 Brad Bates' achievement from the first half.
To preface this, I do not know how many hat-tricks Jordan Williams has.
It's a slightly larger pool of data, that one.
Yeah.
Substitution for Aspire. Tom Kelly, designated goalkeeper, comes off. In his place, number 14, Bobby Williams. Also on in place of Rosie Dak, Sally McNeil. Live on Court A currently. West Bromwich Albion Throstles currently have a 2-goal advantage over Manchester United PFC. That can also be found on the WFA's YouTube channel. We've recently introduced individual streams for each of our fixtures, which has all but revolutionised the way in which we stream our games and structure them. The ease of accessibility greatly improved through that innovation, so that I want to give full credit to Alex Dowding and Jack Humphreys, among others, in our streaming team. You can click the notification to be told when games are starting. Lambert into the side of Bobby Williams' chair. Sally McNeil might get an opportunity here. Just patiently controls it on that left-hand wing. Advantage played by Carolyn Bean. Got a little bit condensed. Simpson. Over to Lambert, back to Simpson, switches it to Kai Gill. That's really nice play. And a good effort from Kai Gill. Couldn't quite get the accuracy to force an effort at goal. But it's them triangles around the Aspire players and the accuracy in the 2 or 3 passes leading up to that chance, which were Very good. Probably the best passage of play they've had all game.
Yeah, and there's certainly been encouraging things from Hull in this game, and I really hope that their coaches and players do take some time after this game to go and watch it back. Because they really, there's a lot that they can take from it, especially in terms of defensively in that first half. That if they can play and defend like that for 40 minutes against some of the lower down teams in this league, and can back themselves to score a goal on the counter-attack or score a goal from a set piece, they will win football games this season.
I think it's incredibly important to add context to their situation. Across the 22-23 championship campaign, I don't think they ever expected or had the expectation to get promoted. It was a frantic finish to game week 5 of the championship last season, where Manchester United, Nomad Knights, Middlesbrough, Hull, East Yorkshire were all vying for 2 available Premiership promotion spots. And just how things worked out with goal difference and advantages, it was their last game of the campaign which saw them secure promotion. So this is the first time in history they are competing within the Premiership. So I just want them to enjoy the experience ultimately, try and pick up points where possible, but not be disappointed if it means going back down to the Championship, applying everything you've learned in the Premiership division to then come back again stronger. We've seen that with so many teams in the division where they've taken the step up, they've struggled, they've gone back down the division, they've learnt from their experiences, and then they've thrived in the top division.
Yeah, it's definitely something that can be done. I mean, I think one of the best examples of it is, you know, the way that Sevenoaks strengthened when they came into the Premiership.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they've been... Obviously, they struggled last season and they're having a rather torrid season so far. But they have the players now and they have the experience to get out of the situation. They have the experience to get results. They have England internationals on their team that can help them to do so.
Yeah, Lee Chariot, another one. So they have to apply that context to it, because they were so impressive in the Championship. But if you're looking, all 3 Championship sides that got promoted last season are struggling to find their feet in the top division. Manchester United and Nomad Knights, they comprise 3 of the bottom 4 positions. So, but it's just the way that football works, that teams that come up via promotion are typically always considered favourites for relegation. Anyone that beats them odds deserves full credit.
Yeah, especially in power chair football, in terms of when you're in the Championship, there's sort of a pool of Premiership players and a pool of Championship players, and a lot of the time, and players don't move a lot in power chair football. There's not that sort of transfer window where you're bidding for opposition players, and that's not the way it works in this sport. And so it is difficult, you know, when you come up to add that extra bit of experience, that extra bit of quality, and the only way you get that is through games, as Brad Bates adds his 4th of the game.
An absolutely fantastic goal there from Brad Bates. Squeezed the ball inside that left-hand post.
Yeah, that was very, very good. I mean, that's all you can say. A moment of pure quality from Brad Bates, and the game had gone a little bit stale, but you just need moments like that, as I said earlier, to just keep you ticking over, get you into the end of this game. It's a long day for Aspire. They only finish, they have the 4:30 kickoff this afternoon, so they need to keep themselves energised. That's why the rotation they've done in this game has been so important. If they can keep that energy up and just keep ticking over through this weekend, then they should lead this weekend in a very strong position, considering the fixtures of the teams below them.
Cole Simpson over to Kai Gill. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Hull and East Yorkshire 0, Aspire 7. Bates switches it over to Sally McNeil, but couldn't quite get the positioning to receive that ball from the number 19. Heavy contact between Hayden Lambert and Sally McNeil. Goes in the favour of Hull and East Yorkshire. So that game we just mentioned between West Bromwich Albion and Nomad Knights will be contested on Court A. That individual stream can be found on the WFA's YouTube. Next up, on Court B, a really important fixture towards the bottom of the table. Sees Sevenoaks take on Nottinghamshire. A win for Sevenoaks would see them leapfrog Nottinghamshire in the table, so important that they try and get 3 points there. Bates over to Jordan Williams, back to Bates. Rothery clears to Kai Gill. Hayden Lambert has to be careful his positioning. He's given a number of 2-on-1s away throughout this game, and that is another one to add. Just needed to give Kai Gill a little bit more room to operate. Final minute. Charlie, I'll push you for a player of the match.
It's a difficult one. I think I'll give it to Brad Bates. He obviously scored his hat-trick in the first half, his first hat-trick in Aspire colours, and then he's come back on in the second half in the middle and scored an absolutely belting goal. So it's been a very good day for Brad in both positions. I'm sure he'll be happy with the way he started this weekend. And yeah, that's my man of the match.
Congratulations to Brad. Absolutely echo everything you've just said. Hat-trick in the first half, which he added to with a fantastic finish outside the box in the second. We've had the regulation 20, so now into any additional time I doubt very much, as was the case in the first half. Just that slight stoppage when that was the contact between Sally McNeil and Hayden Lambert probably will give us an extra 30 or so seconds, but beyond that it's going to be a fairly seamless start to game week 3 for Aspire.
Yeah, Carolyn Bean has the whistle ready.
And that will conclude game 1 of game week 3. Congratulations to Aspire. They take home the 3 points. 7-0 win. Brad Bates opened the scoring, and it was Dan McClellan, 2 further from Brad Bates in the first half. They switched slightly tactically and utilised a number of their squad across the second half. Jordan Williams came on to score 2 in quick succession before Brad Bates capped off a brilliant win for Aspire. Next up, as mentioned, Sevenoaks versus Nottinghamshire on Court B. A really intriguing one on Court A between West Bromwich Albion and Nomad Knights. I hope you can join myself and Charlie for that one. See you soon.
weather.